Welcome to this LEX 18 Digital Conversation. I'm Davidson. You know, getting everyone in Lexington counted in the upcoming 2020 federal census is a must, but it is also a major undertaking. Here to talk more about the Census 2020 Complete Count Committee and their efforts is Lexington Mayor Linda Gorton. Welcome, Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk a little bit about census. It's a packet that comes in the mail. A lot of people kind of push it to the side, or they're thinking it's Big Brother watching and counting, but it's so much more than that, isn't it?
It's very important. And the census, first of all, is mandated by our U.S. Constitution. A lot of people don't know that. And so we are mandated to count our people who are living in every place in the United States. And it determines how much funding we get for certain things like roads and schools and healthcare facilities, that sort of thing. And at the local level, it really helps us plan if we know what our number of people is. There are a lot of infrastructure issues and things like that that we will plan differently if we know our number of people is higher, for example. And the number of dollars available based on the census is huge. It's something like $675 billion that's distributed out over the country.
Just on the census results?
Yes, based on the census. So it's very important. And you mentioned the packets that come in the mail. Well, for the first time ever, people will be able to digitally respond to the census.
Really?
They will be able to go on the website and at midnight, if they want, or at 5 in the morning, whenever is convenient, and fill out that census questionnaire. It won't all be done by paper this time.
Wow.
This is the first time the digital will be used.
But now, say there are seniors who are not digitally savvy, or people who just absolutely don't have access, because there's still people who don't have access to it, and even we talk about homeless. Will there be door-to-door people? Will there still be packets available for people?
Yes.
The old-fashioned way?
There will still be the old-fashioned way, paper. And I think in the very, one of the farther steps along is that if people haven't been counted, there will be some searching out for those folks to actually go to their home like they used to do always. So it's a multi-approach. But we think loads of people will take it digitally. Because it'll be so convenient.
Convenient, yeah. But now what about the homeless population? Are there going to be efforts to get, and even those who maybe English is not their mother language?
Yes, that's a great point. Our Complete Count Committee is very focused right now on planning for those kinds of scenarios. How do we reach the non-English speaking population, for example? How do we reach the homeless population? They will have plans in place for all of that. And that will involve a lot of outreach into the community.
And now the committee was put together by you, and you selected from the list people from varied backgrounds. How did you kind of come up with those names? Were they given to you? Were they just people that you kind of just thought of and went to and said, hey, can you help me out with something? Or maybe a hodgepodge of all of it?
It's more of a hodgepodge of all of it. And a lot of those people on the list, on the committee, are people who are working heavily in the community already, who know the populations, who understand how to reach different types of folks. So, and we had to have it representative of a very broad scope of different entities in the community, or it doesn't work. So it's, the other thing I wanted to mention is based on the census, we will have redistricting of political districts. For example, after the census numbers are in, the Urban County Council here in Lexington will appoint a redistricting committee based on the census. Because, the one person, one vote kind of guideline, well, we grow in different areas every year, and it might be that this year one council member is representing a hugely disproportionate number of people because the growth has occurred there.
Right.
So there will be redistricting locally, state, and nationally.
But will that adversely affect those maybe in lower incomes in this redistricting?
It shouldn't. This will be just redrawing the lines based on population.
Okay.
And it's a fascinating process.
I bet.
I've actually sat through 2 of them as a council member. Here, locally, council members can't actually serve on the redistricting committee. You know, you can't serve on the committee
can't draw
that's
the
going to draw your own
lines.
lines.
Exactly. That would be double.
So that's right. So each council member will appoint a representative, and it's fascinating because they work with our GIS folks, and they can actually sit in a meeting and say, well, we need to move 30,000 people.
Right.
And a committee member can say, well, what if we take 10,000 from this area and 10,000 from this area and move them? And they will automatically on the map show us what that looks like and what the numbers are for the district.
And then I guess
it's fascinating.
They'll then reissue voter cards and tell you that you have to go to a different precinct, I guess, and that's how
that's how that
Oh,
works.
that's
Dia.
how that
You've been
works.
around.
Oh, it's just amazing. It's just so fascinating to see how one document or one, listing of maybe 20 or 30 questions can affect so many things. Let's talk a little bit about how it affects education in our schools. That's been a big issue of late. How will the census help with that?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is funding.
Yes.
For example, if Fayette County is to say we gain a lot more people than we thought we would, they will look at those numbers and plug in a greater funding level based on population. And that's really one of the biggest impacts that our census numbers have. So it's really critical to services, and schools are no different to our citizens. And we consistently, when I was on the council, I was there for the 2000 census and then for the 2010 census.
Right.
And both of those decades, we grew about 30,000 people.
Really?
10 years, 30,000 people. So it's going to be interesting. A lot of people think we may have grown more this
especially when you're in rush
decade.
hour traffic in Lexington.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, it does
You've
seem
noticed?
like it. Yes, I have. Talking about that, roads and infrastructure. This you said would help allocate more funds for road improvement, I guess?
Yes, road improvements, healthcare facilities. Think about that.
Yeah.
And there are many healthcare facilities that receive federal and state funds, and all of those kinds of things. Veterans services, there are lots of different entities that receive federal funds, and many of those federal funds are based on population.
Right.
So it's important that we get our count as accurate as we can and get as many people participating as we can.
But there are some people who are concerned about filling out these documents, and especially if they maybe are illegal or there's something wrong with their citizenship status. What would be your take to that for them? What would you encourage them or tell them that you'd like for them to do?
Well, the first thing is we need to count every single person.
Right.
It's very important to us in Fayette County to know exactly how many people we have living here. And secondly, the Census Bureau tells us that all of this data is protected. It cannot be shared with law enforcement. It cannot be shared with federal entities. It really can't be shared. Right. And it is protected. And, right now there's no citizenship question on the form. As you know, the Supreme Court has been dealing with that, and we don't know yet if a question like that will go on the form or not. Right. But the information is all protected, and people can rely on that. Right. This is what the Census Bureau tells us, and they know.
Right.
So...
Any idea when the forms will be available and people will be ready? Is it Jan 1 or?
Well, the official counting begins April 1st,
Okay.
2020.
Okay.
2020. And so even though it's, we say the census next year, the actual counting won't begin till April 1st. So I suspect that the forms that are sent out and what's available on the digital platforms will start appearing about then.
Right. And then the information is given back to the cities by the end of the year, or would you be looking into 2021 maybe?
I think last time it
took a little
came
bit.
early the next year. It takes a little bit to process all that.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. A lot of people.
And you figure, we think right now Fayette County has about 325,000 people.
Wow.
And so just Fayette County alone, that's a fair number of people. And
yeah.
you think about the whole United States.
Indeed.
Veterans are counted. University students.
Yes.
Our university students will be counted here, whether they live
Somewhere else or out of state.
somewhere else.
Oh, really?
Because they're considered being here 6 months and 1 day of the year. And so that's pretty standard. So we will count all of the students at University of Kentucky, at Transylvania, at the other universities and colleges in town.
Right.
And so, they have to be counted someplace. So that's the standard.
Okay. Okay.
Is where they
and
go to
getting,
school.
and I guess there's going to be a push on the university campuses to get the young people
yes.
to actually fill them out.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. You've been mayor for now 3-4 months. What's the best part of the job?
Oh, I love the diversity of it. And that's one of the things I love about nursing is you go to work and you never know
what you're
that
going to
day
come up with, right?
what is going to
Right.
be on the calendar
Right.
or what you're going to run into. And I love that part of it.
Yeah.
And Lexington is full of different people, different entities, different events, just tons of different things.
And it's keeping you busy,
And
isn't it?
yes,
Yeah.
and our people here are wonderful.
Yeah.
I've lately been calling our people our secret weapon,
Yeah.
our secret sauce, because people here are, in general, they're generous. They want to help. They want us to be a better community. And so it's all good. And it's a good fit for me. The job is.
Well,
So
I thank you so very much for
thank
stopping
you.
by. Thank you for watching this LAX18 Digital Conversation. For more digital conversations, just log on to LAX18.com. Until next time, I'm Dia Davidson.